Welcome back to another edition of Heritage Recreations YouTube channel. It's been a long time between drinks with presenting the latest update with the VR HSV Clubsport build number 461. So we apologise that we haven't been able to get onto it sooner. We obviously had a few other projects in the way. The Silver VE Clubsport was one of those projects. And obviously we've just purchased the Gunmetal Grey R8, which is currently down at Northeast Crash Repairs having its makeover. This car, since last time we featured it, has had the interior removed, so all the seats, carpet, underlays all come out. The wiring from the engine bay has been pulled through into the cabin and put into a plastic bag, and so the car's ready to head back to Rob for the floors to be straightened and for the front engine bay, or the front clip in the engine bay, to be completed. And more importantly, since last time we've featured this car, the mechanicals are well and truly underway. So the transmission's now been rebuilt, and 3/4 of the engine has also been rebuilt as well. And we'll be looking at the front rear subframes. New brakes, brake rotors and calipers will be tidied up on that. All the bushes will be replaced. So we'll go through those in finer detail with Pete in a minute. We just wanted to show you the car as it sits. At the moment we just pulled it out of storage just for the video, and we'll go through the interior of it in a second. You'll see what we've done. So as we move to the interior of the car, you can see that we spent a fair amount of time getting this all pulled apart. So I did this quite a few months ago now, probably 6 months ago. And the reason we did that is we obviously need to get the floors repaired. So what we're thinking is that someone's probably done a burnout, or they've gone too fast around a corner and they've actually mounted the curb, probably gone over some sort of cement bollards, but they've actually dented the floor on the driver's side. So that all needs to be pulled out and repaired. And it's caused the driver's side seat to sink in towards the transmission tunnel side of the car. So that all needs to be repaired. So Pete's done a really good job. He's blasted the floors of the car underneath so that then Rob can get onto it and get it all straightened out. Then it'll obviously be painted and then brought back to us. And at the same time, while it's at Rob's, he's going to finish off the engine bay. So the next stage is this car will head back to Rob's. He's going to get the floor sorted out for us, hopefully in the near future. Then the car will come back out to the mechanics here with Pete doing his magic. We'll put the transmission engine back in the car, and obviously the front and rear ends will go into it. We'll put the standard wheels will go back on the car so we don't risk any damage to the genuine Clubsport wheels once they're painted. And then we'll obviously get the car started up and make sure the engine's working and the car actually moving under its own steam. Once that's happened, then we'll plan the exterior restoration of the car back down at Northeast Crash Repair. Okay, I've managed to lock down Pete to go through the mechanical side of the car. Obviously we just spent a little bit of time out with the car showing you with the interior removed, and the next steps were getting the floors repaired. Now we're moving inside, so we've got the transmission. One of the feature videos last time we actually showed a few issues with it, which Pete pointed out. It's now been rebuilt, and as you can see it's still wrapped in plastic so that it's ready to be fitted to the car once the car comes back from Rob's. So I'll just go through, I don't know the finer details with this transmission. Pete's sorted all that out for me, so I'll throw it to Pete. Pete, you're just happy to go through what we've actually done to get the transmission to this stage?
It basically gave it a full rebuild. Nothing overly serious. It's all vapor blasted so that it does have an OEM finish. We've done a couple of valve body mods. Nothing big because the camshafts will be relatively small. Gone through it, refreshed the converter, just flared the standard one open. Hopefully, get an 1900 stall out of it, nothing big. Still the factory 12-inch converter. But basically it's a nicely rebuilt standard everyday transmission. Not much increase in line pressure.
Yeah.
So still drive as they should, but it won't be as tight as it was.
And obviously we've built this transmission knowing we're not going to be doing high revs in the car. We're not going to be bashing it around a track. We're not going to be doing drag
we've
racing.
done little things, a few little upgrades internally, but nothing that would warrant the need for large billet components for high horsepower or high torque.
Yeah.
So with a little 276 cam or something like that, little flare up in the converter. I mean, we could go to a 10-inch converter and try and make it feel like it's got more power than it has, but that's not the car.
Yeah.
The main thing was bring it back to standard, put a couple of improvements internally in it, and make it look like it's been done correctly as well. That's why it's wrapped like a piece of vegetable.
Yeah. Now, you did feature before, there was some numbering, which I'll try and...
They do usually have stickers up on the bell housing which will say 3HDD, 4HDD, which will signify what sequence it is in the cleaning process. Those stickers get lost. Now, that might be something that Stick This Decals or someone does a repo.
Yeah.
And you can stick that back on there. It's got a little barcode and a number for identification.
Yeah.
Nice for the restorers. I think previously a little vent tube here was missing, which is just a atmospheric breather.
Yeah.
The good thing is the trans, apart from being tired, was still quite healthy. So, I mean, they still require a full rebuild. You never really get away with doing a minimum on these anymore.
Yeah.
Attentive, yep.
So bulletproof, ready to go on the back of the engine block and hopefully get another 15 to 20 years of life out of it, as long as we don't belt the daylights out of it.
Yep. Make sure all the transcooler's nice and healthy, and the owner will be responsible in the operation of it, which always helps make them last a bit longer.
Correct.
But yeah, because we're not doing any, there's no boost to the engine. There's nothing silly, so it's a standard application being used in a moderate fashion.
Yeah.
So it's just attentive, and it looks the part, and internally it looks the part. It's got a few little mods internal, but nothing silly, nothing to write home about.
Perfect.
And that should keep the campers happy.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, now we covered off on the transmission of the Clubsport. Now we're moving to the real business end and the heartbeat of the car with the 304 V8 5-litre engine. We pulled this out. Obviously, we got it running after quite some time remaining dormant, and it sounded quite good. We pulled it apart and found a couple of issues with it, but it's now gone through a process to get it to this stage. So I'll throw it over to Pete just to explain what we found to get it rebuilt or to the stage where it's at now, and everything that's happened to it and the expectation moving forward. So over to you, Pete.
Yep, it was actually quite good on the teardown. Camshaft wear, lifter wear was average for its case. It wasn't actually too clogged up. A lot of the time the oil galleries in these will soot, especially from sitting. This wasn't too bad. Obviously some wear in the bores warranting an oversize, so we've gone for a 20th hour over. Put in a flat top piston, so we'll take it from 9.2 compression up to 9.7, 9.8, whatever it turns out to be when we dress it up and test it. Basically hot tanking, we did have to deck the surface as it did have some run out in there, but we have done minimal, so we are still maintaining the engine number even if it is very vague. We just tried to do the minimum on that so we can still have the numbers of the car matching. Machinist was happy with the amount we took off there.
Is that something that, you know, if we wanted to go as pedantic as need be, can we still get that lettering in stamps to restamp that?
The hardest thing would be is finding the correct font of the stamp. Yeah. Because it is probably a proprietary GM stamp. I think some machine shops have the correct stamps and they do re-stamp it. Ideally, if it hasn't been messed with and it is still visible, I would leave it. Yeah. Regency do get funny if they're re-stamped. If it looks original, they leave you alone. Yeah. If it doesn't look original, they can X-ray it and see if the imprint's different underneath. Mm-hmm. So a lot of time, if we can, we will leave it there. I've got another 355 here ready, and we were able to do the same thing, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah. So it's all been torque plate honed, board 20 plus. Hot tank cam bearings. We did the mandatory crack test and sonic test to make sure we didn't have any extra thin bores or anything silly like that. Yeah. So it's just staying the factory 2-bolt. We're not doing any big mods there where we'd need to change to a 4-bolt. We're not going to a twin throttle body 4-bolt main sort of Group A style, Pete. I thought that was a discussion you and I had, mate. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. We've got some basic pistons, flat tops instead of the slightly dished ones from factory. Standard rod bolts, standard rods. Yeah. Just nicely cleaned and ready for assembly.
And the crankshaft, any dramas with that?
Crankshaft basically just had it linished.
Yeah.
That was still good. So we'll get the bottom end assembled reasonably soon. Just check clearances and things like that. Then we'll, probably like I said, we'll go with a 276 crank cam, we'll dial that in.
Now the drivability with a 276, so...
it's a very moderate camshaft.
Yeah. So the options we were looking at were 276, 286 cam, which is obviously slightly more aggressive, and we sort of didn't think more...
Now that we've given it a bit of compression with a 20 over on a flat top, a 286 really likes compression. A lot of people put 286s into standard engines and they don't breathe well.
Yeah.
They do like that compression. So we could probably go to a 286. It does make it more lumpy. It does make the engine want to work higher in the RPM. So if we did go to a 286, I would definitely suggest doing something with a torque converter instead of the standard.
Yeah.
But with a 276, it's up from standard. It's almost what Brock would have done in the VKs and things. That sort of duration.
Yeah.
So we're staying sort of within an OEM upgrade. Drivability, stability. I mean, 286s are still good. Less and less people are tuning them, so that's always a bit of a hassle now.
So I guess that's the question is, when we throw the 276 cam in, what needs to be done with the computer work to get this thing running properly? Is there...
What we'll do to keep it simple is a company called Mace just do a cam and chip package, which makes it very cost effective.
Yeah, nice.
If we had to buy the camshaft separately and then have someone tune the Delco, you'll probably pay $1,000 for someone to run this up on a dyno and start tuning it.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't mean they'd get it right,
Yeah.
but they'd get a start on it.
Okay.
And a lot of the time these have issues with cold start and off idle cold as they go into the warm. And that's where a lot of tuners struggle the most, because you can't have the car there for days and days and days redoing the cold start.
Yeah.
A lot of time that gets overlooked. So I've used a few Mace ones in the past for these sort of standard applications, and they seem to work as they'd need to. So without overcomplicating it or trying to chase horsepower, this is a nice freshen up. I wouldn't put a standard cam in, that would be a waste of time.
Yeah. What sort of figures have you seen from the standard thought process just with a 276 and the Memcar? What sort of powers are you thinking?
Ideally, like if you can get a horsepower per cube,
yeah,
in something like this, because they were only 165 kilowatt, what's that, about 220 horse, something like that. So if we can take the engine up to around 300,
yeah,
the engine itself, by the time you have parasitic loss through your drivetrain, things like that, so you end up with the that'd probably be a 220, 240 kilowatt engine.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so and drivability and lean cruise and all those normal things. So if you want to go on the open road, it'll just happily sit there in overdrive and idle along.
I mean, these things were quite touchy at the rear end just with a standard engine, so I guess it's going to give us that extra bit of bite where you really want to make sure you're driving it properly, to make sure you don't bend it around a stovey pole or something similar.
Yep. Well, these things are good for rev. Without stroking it, they don't have them a lot of torque. They're still good. I wouldn't complain. They're a great engine. But this is just a nice, simple approach. We'll use decent products in there. There's nothing here I don't need to head start it. I don't need to go MLS gaskets.
Yeah.
We're not even going to go hydraulic roller.
Okay.
We'll keep it simple, more to the budget. I mean, there's 3 horsepower in hydraulic rollers, but you pay for buying the product.
Yeah, okay.
So they're,
well, that might need to be a conversation at that time, maybe.
We can do. When I'll get some of the bottom end assembled, I can price up. I think it's a couple of grand by the time you do your hydraulic roller camshafts and roller followers.
Yeah.
But then you want to do roller rockers and you want to do push rods and you do your valve
And where do you
springs.
stop? That's the question, isn't it?
It will snowball. They always snowball.
And then we've got to take ourselves back to the whole reason for building this car, and it's to save it from the wreckers and to try and keep our numbers matching VR Clubsport alive. So
Correct. If you're chasing horsepower, cool. If we're trying to make it a nice, honest version of itself, little 276 is just a nice little basic start.
I think I'm getting excited with the noise of hydraulics and extra horsepower. I think I need to be reined in just a little bit. But, I think the original plan's going to work, Pete.
Well, we've still got to look at the heads next.
Yeah.
Which are basically, they look healthy as a used specimen, so we'll get them rebuilt. See if it needs guides and valves, and obviously we'll definitely do springs and things like that. So once this gets on the stand, has a few more baths, so we're happy for it, we'll reassemble. Confirm clearances, work out our static compression and see what we've got. and then we'll play heads and cam.
Sounds good. All right, next we'll go and have a look at the rear cradle, because it's got it's got this crazy looking stress crack. So we'll go have a look at that now.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're just in the back area at Soaring Phoenix Mechanical. It's Brandon's little magic creation shed. He goes through and makes up craziness to repair stuff like this. Quite a well-skilled fabricator, and I've wired him up on the microphone with his first dance on the Heritage Recreations YouTube channel, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Now, Brandon, obviously we've got a crack here, and we can see we've got some outlines of what looks to be a plate that you're looking at manufacturing. Do you just want to talk us through what process you're doing and how you're going to go through the repair of this crack?
All right, so we've got some chalk lines marked out just to give a quick design approach as to how I'm going to reinforce the top of the cross member. Obviously the crack is quite long and it's creeping over the radius here. Marked out some reference points as to where I'm going to plug weld it. So quick sketch, populator in SolidWorks. I've already gone through one MDF prototype just to see how it fits. Obviously something complex in this nature, you've got a couple of double radiuses, the center lines and their reference points are all over the shop. So I quickly drew up something to get the ball rolling and then tweak it from there. Idea is to spread the load over the crack in the plug welds, making sure the plate captures all the radius in the cross member, because the radiuses are the strongest point in the cross member. It's quite large, spread the whole load of the repair across the whole cross member, and it'll be good in years to come.
Yeah, so just looking at the materials that would be used, obviously what sort of thickness would the factory steel have been for this cross member itself?
Generally about 3 mil of this nature. With this I'll have to V out this crack, planish it down, completely weld it off, and then the reinforcement will be the same parent material, 3 mil thick. You wouldn't put any less on it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we'll end up using the same material thickness.
So when we're looking at doing the repair, does that plate you manufacture get welded to the top, or we're going to cut out the actual hold section there that you've marked out? How do you go through that process in order to get it right?
Because of where it is and sits in the car, we are able to reinforce it and, in a sense, plate it over the top without removing it. When you start to try to repair something and make it look as if it hasn't been repaired in this format, you can run into creating other issues. So let's say you've come through here and you want to remove this and weld it in here. When you start to weld your new piece in, that becomes a new weak point, and quite possibly you still might retain the inherent weakness in this design. So plating it over the top, obviously it's going to be under the body. It's way stronger, a smarter approach to repair it, and you won't have any issues in the future to come. So.
Yeah. Now, we can always probably guess to work out how this damage has been caused. I think anyone that owns a VP, VR, VS, predominantly a V8 car, that have given it a bit of a hard time. Seems to be a pretty common fault with this, but moving forward to avoid it, probably not doing gutter-to-gutter burnouts would probably help us to avoid this sort of issue in the future. Is that sort of the common reason for these, or is it actually an engineering issue with Holdens?
I'm pretty sure the underlying issue was the torque loading, obviously, why you see it commonly on one side. I think some other people have repaired these in the past and they focus primarily on repairing that one side, which is obviously okay as an approach in nature, but from my perspective, I like to keep some sort of symmetry and spread the load across between the 2 points and stuff, and it's all tied in as a whole piece.
Yeah, of course.
Either approach is okay.
Yeah. And so moving forward, obviously that repair plate will go in there, and then Pete will give it a paint, and then we'll start building up the suspension from that. And the same thing will happen with the front subframe once that comes back from Rob's, and then that'll get fitted to the underside of the Clubsport, and in theory it should be able to run and roll under its own steam. So that sort of gives you a bit of an update with the VR Clubsport build number 461. I thank both everyone at Phoenix, Soaring Phoenix Mechanical, for coming out, spending the time to go through all this stuff with us. Brandon's he's an artist. and Pete is just a very level-headed mechanic. So looking forward to bringing this creation to the rest of the heritage recreation supporters out there. So sorry it's taken so long to get a video done. Moving forward, if everything goes well, we should get this car hopefully on the road within the next 6 to 8 months would be something I'd like to aim for, but as we know, things tend to change. But thanks for following us again here at Heritage Recreations, and we'll have an update on the VE Clubsport R8 with you shortly. Bye for now.